Hey all, welcome to Homeschool. And today we are with one more wonderful chapter called Structure of Atom of class 10. You know, in class 9 CBSE syllabus, we have a structure of atom chapter, right? Which I have already covered it. Say in that particular chapter, we have actually studied about the very fundamental aspects about the atom, different atomic models like Rutherford's model, Thomson's model, which gave very basic idea about the structure of atom, right? And keeping that in mind, we are going to study the much advanced aspects about understanding the structure of atom. So here we are going to study something like electromagnetic waves, Bohr's model, quantum atomic model, so-called quantum numbers. You know, when you study these things, you get complete understanding about the structure of atom. Actually, this particular chapter is not there in our NCERT class 10 syllabus, right? This is there for another state board, Telangana state board. And this chapter is very important for class 11 CBSE also, right? So for both the boards, I mean for both the classes, class 10 and class 11, this chapter can be helpful. Like whatever the concepts I am covering in a chapter will be helpful. So do watch all the sessions and enjoy the concepts in a very practical way and in a very detailed way. Fine. And if you want to know very basic fundamental aspects about the structure of atom, you can go to the description where links are provided about the chapter called Structure of Atom, CBSE 9th class. Clear? Okay. Coming to the chapter, see, we already know atom consists of the subatomic particles. What are the subatomic particles? Protons, neutrons and electrons. And we all very well know that the Rutherford model taught us the protons are present inside so-called nucleus and electrons keep rotating outside the nucleus in a specific orbits, he told. Right? Electrons keep rotating outside the nucleus. See, this is the fundamental idea given by Rutherford. But still, Rutherford had certain level of limitations, right? Actually, what was the limitation of Rutherford? Whenever an electron is rotating outside around the nucleus, say electron is a charged body. So whenever a charged body rotates continuously, it loses all the energy and you may have chances of this electron getting fallen on the nucleus. So once the electron falls on a nucleus, then atom is unstable, right? So that was the limitation of Rutherford. So came another model called Bohr's model. So Bohr has given some detailed aspects about the structure of atom. Okay, and before learning the Bohr's model of an atom or quantum model of an atom, okay, if you want to understand how exactly the protons are there in a nucleus and how exactly this electron is rotating outside the nucleus, if you want to know more things about all this, you must understand the basics of light here. Okay, so the basics on nature of light. So you must able to understand nature of light, and also you should understand about certain flames, like there are so many colored flames. Yes or no? Say for a Diwali, whenever you crack the crackers, you would observe different colored flames, right? And different lights would give you different colors. So what are these colored flames? How are we getting these colored flames? Some aspects about these things are very necessary to understand. And based on these concepts, Bohr has given his model. I mean, Bohr told something about the structure of atom. So if you want to learn about the quantum model or Bohr's model, first you should have knowledge on nature of light or radiation, and you should also have idea about certain colored flames, like how they are produced, what is their nature, what is their characteristics and everything. Yeah, so I am going to discuss about the nature of light in today's video, right? What is a light? light is just a form of energy. We know light is a form of energy, or I can say it is a kind of radiation that is coming from a sun, right? Whatever light we see, the natural light in our atmosphere, it is the radiation that is coming from a sun, right? Okay. And I can call the light as electromagnetic wave. So here I introduced a new word called electromagnetic waves. So what I just now told you, light is a form of, I told you, light is a form of electromagnetic wave. So what is this electromagnetic wave? And there are different types of electromagnetic waves. How is this light coming from a sun? Right? And at the moment you on a tube light or a electric lamp, the light comes from a lamp or tube light. Actually, like, how is this light getting produced, guys? And all these radiations that you are observing in the atmosphere are nothing but electromagnetic waves. Okay, I can call waves, or I can also say it as electromagnetic radiations. Okay, so let us understand, like, what is this electromagnetic waves and how they are produced. Say I said light is a form of, it is one of the type of electromagnetic wave. So it is very necessary to understand about this electromagnetic waves or radiation. Okay, see guys, the concept is very simple. See, any object which have charges, any object which is having charges, what do you mean by charges? Charges are nothing but your protons and electrons. Okay, so any object in the universe will contain atoms. We know that atoms have protons and electrons inside it. We know that. And these protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged. We know that also, right? So any object which is having charges, that means protons and electrons. So when these charges vibrates, when these charges vibrate. So what do you mean by vibration? Say something like this, right? So when these charges vibrates, and the big question is, why do they vibrate, right? So why these charges like protons, electrons vibrate inside the atom? They keep vibrating always. So why do they keep vibrating? The vibration is due to a certain level of heat present inside them. Okay, even our human body has lots of atoms. We are all made up of atoms. So atoms have a charges. Even in our body, those atoms like which were having the charges, the charges will keep vibrating always. So why they keep vibrating is because of certain level of heat present inside the body. Yes, we have a temperature for our body, right? So it is a 37 degrees centigrade. Whenever you check with the thermometer, it will show 37 degrees centigrade or 98 Fahrenheit, right? So each and every body, each and every object in the atmosphere has certain level of heat. Because of this heat present, these charges will start vibrating. Okay, so vibration is due to a heat energy, okay, or due to a heat present in a object. Got to know? So you got to know why do these charged particles will vibrate. It's because of heat present. Okay, so when they vibrate, what happens when they vibrate? Electric field and magnetic fields are produced. There's a certain level of electricity produced and magnetism is getting produced, guys. Okay, so whenever these charges keep vibrating inside the object, you know what they will create? They will create, you know, electric field and magnetic field. Electric field and magnetic field. Okay, so these fields are produced, and these fields, the electric power and magnetic power, whichever is getting created newly, no, it will flow in the form of wave. They will flow in the form of wave. Electric field flows in the form of a wave. Magnetic field also flows in the form of a wave. Got to know? And these waves are called as electromagnetic waves. Electric field, magnetic field. They are traveling in the atmosphere in the form of wave. How are they produced? They are produced by the vibration of charged particles. Why do the vibration of charged particles takes place? It is because of certain level of heat present inside the object. So what are these charged particles? It's nothing but our protons and electrons. Where are they present? Inside every object, every living and non-living object present in the universe. Right? So when these things vibrate, we get electric field and magnetic field, and they travel in the form of, these electric field and magnetic field travel in the form of waves, and we call these waves as electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves. Clear? Say for example, an object is here. Say you have an object here, right? So these objects will have so many charged particles. When they keep vibrating, you know, electric and magnetic fields are produced, you know. So these electric and magnetic fields, you know, they travel in the form of wave. See, like this. They travel. This is electric field. This is electric field that is generated by the charged particles present in the object. Okay, so this is our electric field. Yeah, and now the magnetic field is also traveling in the form of a wave, but it is perpendicular to the direction of electric field. Okay, so this is our magnetic field. You know, magnetic field travel in the form of wave, electric field also travel in the form of wave, but the direction of their traveling, the direction of their propagation is perpendicular to each other. Okay, so what I can say here is direction of propagation in the sense what? Traveling in the atmosphere. Propagation of electric and magnetic fields. Electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so if electric field is going in this form of a wave, then magnetic field goes like this. See, their direction, this wave is actually perpendicular to this wave. Okay, shaded area is one wave and the empty area is another wave. So one wave is perpendicular to another wave. Okay, so this is how the radiations are generated or produced in our atmosphere. These electromagnetic waves are called as radiations. Clear? Everybody? So now you got to know the whole concept. What do you mean by electromagnetic waves? Okay. And now, you know what? Different objects will produce different types of electromagnetic waves. See, sun will produce one type of electromagnetic radiation. Okay, and we human beings, you know, every object can produce electromagnetic waves. Everything in the universe do contain a charged particles. They will definitely vibrate because certain level of heat energy is there. And when they vibrate, definitely these electromagnetic waves originate. That means each and every body in the atmosphere is producing electromagnetic waves. But every object or every body will not produce same type of electromagnetic waves. They produce different types of electromagnetic waves. Say for example, you take sun. Sun will have lots of heat. Sun has lots of heat energy, right? So it depends on how much of heat energy the object has. Depending on the heat energy the object has, different types of electromagnetic radiations are produced. Since the sun has lots of heat energy, the sun produces a radiation, sun can produce a type of a radiation called visible light. That means the light that we are seeing is called visible light. And this is an electromagnetic wave. This is an electromagnetic radiation produced. How they are produced? In the sun, whenever these charged particles vibrate for that high amount of heat, these waves are produced from a sun. So they are traveling from the sun onto the, earth or into the atmosphere of earth. And sun can also produce UV radiation. UV radiation is another type of electromagnetic radiation produced by the sun only. Okay, so we human beings also can produce electromagnetic radiation. Each and every object can produce electromagnetic wave radiation, but different types, because the different bodies have different heat. No, that's the reason. Clear? So now let us discuss about what are the different types of electromagnetic radiation. In short, I will call it as EMR, electromagnetic radiation. See, the first variety and the variety which is the most dangerous variety of electromagnetic radiation is cosmic rays, or I can say cosmic waves. Here waves or radiation is one and the same, guys. Okay, clear? So cosmic waves, who will produce cosmic waves? There are certain gases in the space, guys. Okay, ionized gases are there in a space. These gases, they also have charged bodies, they vibrate and they produce the waves. No, so what type of waves they produce? They are also both electric field, magnetic field, they travel in the form of wave. So what type of wave? We call it as cosmic waves, produced by certain gases which are there in the space. Okay, and the second type of electromagnetic waves is gamma waves, okay, or gamma radiations, and X-rays. X-rays is a third type, and the fourth type is UV radiations. Okay, say I have written some as waves, some as rays, some as radiations. All are same, guys. All are electromagnetic radiations or waves only, right? So who will produce UV radiation? Sun only will produce UV radiations. Okay, and fifth one is visible light. Visible light, this is very important because we see these radiations. Okay, our human eye can see with the help of these radiations. And who will produce these radiations? Again, the sun is the one who, which is producing visible light radiation. Okay, our human eye is sensitive to only the visible light. We can only see which type of electromagnetic radiations? Visible radiations. We cannot see cosmic radiations from our eyes. We cannot see UV radiations from our eyes. We cannot see any radiation, but we can see the visible light radiation which is produced by the sun. Okay, and sixth one is IR, infrared radiation. Okay, and later we have microwaves, and the last variety is radio waves. Radio waves, like you have different objects on earth, right? So all these objects will produce different types of radiations. So it can be one among these radiations. So we may produce certain radiations which may belong to the visible light or infrared rays or whatever. Right? Say like this, each and every object produces electromagnetic radiations, but they are not same. Different objects produce different types of radiations. So these are the different types. Clear? And now the moment we say the radiation or wave, wave has certain characteristics. All these radiations are traveling in the form of wave. Okay, so the moment we talk about a wave has certain characters, no? So let us talk about the nature of wave. What characteristics does the wave has? Okay, see, the moment we say wave, say, because all these radiations travel in the form of wave, we need to learn something about a wave now, right? Say this particular point we call it as crust, and this point we call it as trough. Yes or no? Actually, about this wave you have studied in your lower classes, right? So what I meant to talk about is one of the important property of a wave is wavelength. Okay, you have something called wavelength. What do you mean by a wavelength here? See, it is the distance between the two crusts. This particular distance we call it as lambda. And this much we call it as one wave. What do you mean by one wave, guys? The wave that includes one crest and one trough is called one wave. Okay, say this much is our one wave. It should include one crust, the tallest peak and the bottomest peak. Okay, so such a part of a wave, like that is one wave we call. And the distance between the two crusts in a wave, longest wave, that is called as wavelength. Okay, so what is a wavelength? It is nothing but a distance between two crusts, or the distance between two troughs are called as wavelength. Clear? And next important word is, you must know something about frequency. Frequency is always denoted with this kind of a letter. We call it as mu. Okay, so frequency, mu. Clear? So what is frequency? Number of waves. Now what do you mean by one wave? Right? So one wave in the sense it should include one crest and one trough. So this much. So this much is our one wave. So number of waves passing through a certain point. Okay, number of waves passing through a certain point in 1 second is called as frequency. Like, say for example, this is the point. Say how many waves are crossing this point within a minute. Okay, how many waves are crossing this point within a minute or within 1 second is called as frequency. Okay, so the number of waves that is crossing a particular point in a second is called as frequency. So what I will write? Number of one wave in the sense you all understand, no? This much. So this much particular portion of a wave, like how many waves you are observing that it is passing through this point within 1 second is our frequency. Okay, so number of waves passing through a point, okay, within a second is called as frequency. Okay, say for example, imagine, can you be able to relate between lambda and frequency here? Lambda is what? It tells you the length of a wave. Lambda is the one which is actually telling you how much length is the wave. Like if the distance is too large between two crusts, then we say the length is like very long. Say for example, you see this wave, you have lots of distance. See, this particular distance is too much. But whereas you see this wave, the distance between two crusts is very little. So lambda is the one which is actually telling you how much big is your wave. Okay, how much is the length of your wave. That is what told by our lambda. Okay, and frequency. Frequency is the number of waves that is fastly passing to a particular point within a second is our frequency. So how are they related? See, longer the wave, it is very difficult to pass to a particular point. Many waves cannot pass through a particular point when the waves are like very big, right? So smaller waves, say for example, the waves which are having smaller wavelength I mean, the smaller waves like can pass. Many number of smaller waves can easily pass through a particular point within 1 second, right? So more the lambda, lesser will be the frequency. If more is the distance between two crusts, I mean, if it is a longer wave, its passage, the number of waves that is passing to a particular point will be less because the wave is very much long. If it is a shorter wave, many number of waves can pass to a particular point, right? So what I can say, both of them are inversely proportional to each other. Okay, so how both of them are related? Always lambda is inversely proportional to frequency. Okay, so any wave, if it has got more lambda, like if it's a longer wave, then it's a very slow, its passage in the atmosphere is very slowly it will pass. Okay, it travels with less speed. But if a wave is a very shorter wave, right, it can pass very fastly, right? So that is what our concept. That's why we say lambda is always inversely proportional to nu. See guys, we have one more relation here. Actually, this proportionality sign, if I have to remove, I should introduce some constant mathematically. So lambda is equal to, I can introduce a constant c into 1 by nu. So what I can write, lambda into nu is equal to c. Okay, so this is a very, very important formula. What do you mean by c? C is a constant. It is nothing but speed of light. Okay, it is speed of light. So how much is the speed of light? It is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. I mean, the light radiation that is coming from a sun, it can move with this much speed. It can move 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters within 1 second. See the speed of light, how much fast it is, how much fast the light is moving in the atmosphere, right? So that is constant, always this is constant. Okay, so that's why the product of lambda and nu is always equal to c. It's a very, very basic formula which is very, very important to remember. Clear everybody? So this is some basics about our light. So why we have studied this particular basic is, say, it is to understand this particular concept. Any wave which is a longer, its passage is always slow in the atmosphere. Its frequency is very less. Larger the lambda, smaller is the frequency. Larger the wavelength, smaller is the frequency. See, I mentioned different types of electromagnetic radiations, right? So here, each radiation has different lambda value. Okay, each and every radiation has different wavelength. Some radiations are longer waves and some radiations have shorter waves. Okay, say for example, if you see the cosmic rays, cosmic rays wavelength is very less. They are very shorter type of a wave. Since they are very much shorter and smaller waves, they can travel very fastly in the atmosphere. Their frequency is very much high. Clear everybody? So different radiations have different wavelengths and different frequencies, guys. Okay, so now let us arrange all the different electromagnetic radiations according to their increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency. Okay, so what I am doing, I am arranging all the electromagnetic radiations in the increasing wavelength manner. Right? See, the radiations which have very less wavelength is our cosmic rays. Cosmic rays have very, very less wavelength. And later comes our, gamma rays. Gamma rays. And later comes our X-rays. Okay. And after that, UV radiation. After that, visible light. Visible light, okay, and later IR radiation, microwaves, and finally radio waves. Radio waves have very large wavelength. Okay, the waves of radio radiations are very long. The longer waves will transmit in the atmosphere, and the cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays and all will have very less wavelength. See, in what way I have arranged all these radiations? I have arranged on the basis of increasing. Okay, let me write it here. Increasing wavelength. Increasing wavelength. If the wavelength increases, what happens to their frequency, guys? You know, decreasing frequency. Decreasing frequency. Yes or no? So which of them will have highest frequency? The one which have less wavelength will have highest frequency. I mean, these radiations are very shorter. These waves are very shorter, so they can pass. Many number of rays or waves can pass to one particular point in a very less amount of time. Yes or no? So frequency is very high for those guys which have, you know, smaller wavelength. Yeah, and radio waves, microwaves, they show larger lambda value, large wavelength value. So they will have less frequency. Clear, everybody? Fine. And now our human eye is sensitive to only visible light. We can only see visible radiations with our naked eye. And you know, this arrangement of all electromagnetic radiations according to their increasing wavelength is called electromagnetic spectrum. You know, this is what we call it as electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so how do you define electromagnetic spectrum? This is what we call electromagnetic spectrum. So to study them comfortably, you know, we have arranged all these radiations in a particular pattern. Like, what is the pattern we followed? You know, increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency pattern, right? So what I will write here is arrangement of electromagnetic radiations in the increasing order of their wavelengths, okay, increasing order of their wavelengths, or if you use the word frequency, you have to write it as decreasing order of frequency. So you just arrange them according to their wavelength. Okay, you have arranged them in the increasing order of wavelength. So this is what we call it as electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so when electromagnetic spectrum is asked, this is what the definition you will have to give, and you can show this arrangement as it is. Clear? Fine. And now one interesting thing is, as I already told you, our human eyes can see this visible light, right? Again, this visible light, you know, it consists of 7 radiations. You know what? It consists of 7 radiations. Visible light is again consisting of 7 different radiations. Each radiation has a particular color. Okay, you know, we call them as violet radiation, indigo radiation. Why we call violet radiation? You know, a part of visible radiation has violet color. That's why violet radiation, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Okay, so violet radiation has less wavelength, guys. Okay, it has 400 nanometer. Red radiation has highest wavelength, that is 700 nanometer. Okay, again our visible light contains a 7 different radiation. Why we are specifically studying about visible light is because the light that we see, the light that is present in our atmosphere is visible light. That's why we have to learn more things about the visible light. Right? So visible light is again made up of 7 different radiation. So each radiation has a particular wavelength. Say violet radiation has a wavelength 400 nanometer. Indigo radiation has a wavelength of 450 nanometer. This has a wavelength of 500 nanometer. Each radiation has a different wavelength, guys. Okay, the range, I am talking about the entire range of visible light is 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. Right? And you know what? All of them travel with equal speed in the atmosphere. That's why you don't see different colored radiations present in a light. You see the light as white in color, right? We call the light as white light. But white light has 7 colors in it, 7 different radiations in it. What are they? These are those radiations. Okay, and all these radiations actually travel with an equal speed. No, that's why you don't see a individual color with your naked eyes. You see all of them are staying together. See, since they are together and they look like white in color. Okay, yeah, fine. But when do you see these 7 prominent colors? In a rainbow. Okay, in a rainy season, you will observe the rainbow, right? Early in the mornings or late in the evenings, right? So in a rainbow, you can clearly see the 7 colors. That means those are the 7 radiations of white light. You know, that is actually called as natural spectrum. What is that called as? Natural spectrum. Right? Okay, so more detailed aspects about the visible spectrum or natural spectrum, and you have different types of spectrum actually. Absorption spectrum is there, emission spectrum is there, line spectrum is there. So all these details about the spectrum we discuss in my next video. Okay, till then keep revising the concept and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. Okay, thank you so much.